Greetings and salutations. I hope you're having a wonderful day today, and I hope to make it a little bit more entertaining. Before you click off, because we are back to the card game, which in pretext may seem the same each time, as it's a roguelike, I would like to show you something. Let's go to the journal, and I'm going to show you how little of the game have we truly explored last time. About that much. We haven't even seen 10% of the follow-ups. We've seen only 1/4 of the encounters, only 1/4 of the enemies, and none of these mysterious fragments. So we are back at it again. This time I would like to start with a reliquary, which would increase the game's difficulty, which I'm excited about. Let's see, what do we have here? Relic of the Devourer. Whenever a follower dies, all enemies will gain 1 more health. I start with Sanctuary, corruption level of 86. The higher the number, the harder the playthrough would be. Relic of Addicted, when an aspect is invoked, it will be applied to 2 random followers instead. Enemies will always attack random followers. That's pretty hard. Relic of the Faithful. Everything will cost 1 less faith. Enemies will be much stronger and much more numerous. For the hardest difficulty. And I'm feeling a bit brave. I'm gonna take the cheaper faith, but everything is way stronger. And let's get to it. As we can see in the reliquary slot, now we have the relic that we've got unlocked, and we actually have new event as well as new choice, Nameless Archway. It always feels different at the start of the new expedition. Your foggy mind is in almost a huge state as you gain only a rough notion of what mechanical task your body is performing to get you here. But that is the key. Here's always where you end up. A small broken down archway, not marked by any of the maps during the days here. You breathe in deep as your body adjusts to the suit. You squint your eyes. What do you see this time? And we have new starter. Previously we had Survivor, Wanderer, with no stat and 1-3. Here we have a bit more complex card, it seems. Fate's Beloved. All support followers will be replaced with moths. At the start of combat, gain 1 faith for each moth. Let's go with this one this time, as it seems to be stronger. Recruit event, Beloved's Pact. You inspect the figure in front of you. The suit is in tatters, casings falling off, exposing under paneling and life support organs. Most distressingly, only a black void rests at where your vision should be. I'm perfectly fine and capable of fighting in case you're wondering, they assure you with a warm voice. Between this, the moths and the faint lines of gold on their neck, you suspect fighting would be at least the least of your worries. And we have a lot of moths. Let's see what they do. Moth of Growing. Whenever a new follower is recruited, give Fate's Beloved 1 attack and 1 health permanently. Moth of Weaving. After Fate's Beloved attack, give a random follower +1/+1 until end of combat. Moth of Hunting. After faith is gained by a follower, if faith is still not full, give Fate's Beloved +1/+2. Or Moth of Shining. Fate's Beloved will be prioritized by effects that target random followers. That would help the combat the second augment if we chose that, but we chose the third one. Let's get scaling then. Seems like a good thing to have very early on. Familiar Foe. We already read through this. This seems to be scripted first fight. And what do we have next? Do you get normal followers or just moths? You do get normal followers, and we know about the first 2, not about the third one. Powder. After surviving combat, give a random follower, dead or alive, one more health permanently. I fear that this may hit moths, which are technically followers, and which I don't want to buff. I'm gonna go with Sentinel, just a lot of health, and hope that Fate's Beloved can deal the damage for now. There we go. Pretty easy fight, but we are just starting. Seems that enemies aren't much stronger yet, because it would be impossible otherwise. Also, we have less core health this time, only 4 instead of 5. We have few new choices. Duelist. After each attack, invert attack damage and health until end of combat. So it would switch from its 3 attack to 3 health when enemies would attack for the first time, and then after it attacks for its 1 attack, it would switch again. Or Moth of Hunting. Last time I've played, I went for 5 synergy. I'm gonna try something different this time. We could also pick a Zealot for random damage. I'm gonna go with the new unit, Duelist. And this seems like a pretty good setup. No, it's not. I've wasted damage. So yeah, as we can see, it switches, it starts with each attack. Continue. And it resets to its original stats at the end of combat. Small encampment. So we have Dancer, a new unit. In combat, the next follower will attack in place of this follower. Interesting, so we could place it before Dancer to have it full cycle each turn. When this follower is recruited, give them +1/+1 permanent when the next follower is recruited. So I would recruit this and then replace it with something else with better stats. Slightly better stats. Let's go with that. It's always a bit of scaling. What are we fighting this time? A bunch of goblins, 2, 3, 6. That's actually a really good setup. And now we're only attacking for 1 on the last guy and finish off the enemies. I'm gonna speed up even more. Make everything go faster. Aloe Fountain. We've already read this? No, we didn't. Went over sink through an underground passage with skeletons of eons. No, we did. 1 health to everyone, which would be 4 health or 3 faith. I'm gonna choose faith because my next follower would be buffed. So let's try getting something strong. What do we have here? 13 cost follower, Sculptor. At the start of combat, consume 4 faith to summon 2 4 sculptures. And all of my summons would be replaced with moths. I see. So no, this won't work how I would like it to. I could get another Moth of Growing now, but it's stat wasted. Ritualist. At the start of combat, trigger random followers death effect. I don't have any synergy for that. Do I want Sculptor? It's very fate hungry, and I don't go for the faith build. I think I'm gonna skip here and hope for something even better later on. It could be risky because now I'm fighting without a power up. Yes, I lost, as expected. And pretty badly too. Lost core health. Now I need something strong, and we didn't got anything strong. Artificer is a new choice. When the next follower is recruited, enhance their combat trait with +1 to all values. So I would replace him. And we've got buffs for whatever reason. Alright, whenever a new follower is recruited, give Fate's Beloved attack or health. So I should be recruiting a lot of followers if I can I don't think I'm ready for the hobgoblin, but I mean, kinda have to try for the floor capacity. I don't think I win this. Yeah, I missed one attack. Already to half of the core health. And I see a lot of choices here, all of them being the moths. What do we have here? Moth of Clawing. Face Beloved's attack will also deal half damage to another random enemy. So this starter, Face Beloved, seems to be the moth synergy. Basically all of the moths will buff him and then he is the main carry. Then we have Moth of Sculpting. We'll have Death Effect. Give another one follow-up +1/+1 permanently, which is pretty bad. Hunting. Materializing. Whenever random damage is dealt by a non-Fate's Beloved follower, Fate's Beloved will deal random damage equal to their attack damage. Or Moth of Binding. Choose a follower to also be counted as Fate's Beloved. That's really strong. And I can't afford this. Damn it. Let's go with Moth of Clawing. And I need to replace something. I think I'm gonna replace this one. Those pretty much don't matter, and I don't think I win this. I might actually wipe pretty early. Yeah, I'm gonna lose at this rate. Fate Beloved seems even harder than the base. Than the base starter, or just this difficulty is just so hard. Moth of Sacrificing. After Fate's Beloved dies, kill a non-Fate's Beloved follower with at least 3 health to revive them. This would work with a Dancer, I think. We go with the Intrepid. We roll this recruit event with Seekist followers. I won't be able to afford anything then. I mean, I'm gonna go with this and try to survive. I don't think I have the stats for it. Yeah, because I already lost my Fate Beloved. And here we go. And with that we lost a man. Expedition results. Your consciousness leaves seconds before even the final blow is struck. Blackness in the corridor between time and location. You reach out and recall glimpses of this past journey. Insults exchanged. Laughter shared, dangers overcome. Friendships forged, gone now. Your course and quest are yours alone. Your course and quest are yours alone. Before you wake, your mind reaches somewhere even deeper, searching for a life before. You recall nothing as you wake. Standing on the edge of the kingdom, it's time to embark again. Alright, looks like we failed the run. Let's try again. Maybe with some less difficulty. Let's go with the Devourer relic. So each time my follower dies, enemies will gain 1 health, and I start with Sanctuary. Whatever that means. That's the Sanctuary, I think. At the start of combat, give a random follower +1/+1 permanently. Alright, so I'm going with Fate's Beloved for that. And now, what do I choose to support it with? Hunting. This is only end of combat. I'm gonna go with Growing once again. So technically this should give my Fate's Beloved +2/+2 at the start of every combat. I mean +2 and +1 to random stat. Oh, we already won. Let's try to go for hyperscaling maybe. Cleric, I could get them. But then buffs might miss my Fate's Beloved. But then each time I recruit, whenever a new follower is recruited, give Fate's Beloved +1/+1 or +1. So I'm gonna go with recruitment each time I can. Alright. Seems like I'm way stronger this time. Or just enemies aren't that strong. And we have, I mean, sure. Well, I'm gonna go this just to have little target for the buffs to go on to. I'm gonna try to hyper buff Fate's Beloved this time. What do we have here? Mouth of Shocking. After Fate's Beloved takes damage, give all non-Fate's Beloved followers +1/+1. I don't have any followers. I mean any other followers. Technically I have the duelist, but is it really worth it? I mean it's better than the Mouth of Shining and I want to recruit as much as I can. Let's go. My attack is pretty high right now, and it's permanent. Next recruited follower will have +2 health, let's go. I'm gonna try to get a tank, if I can. And we have the Flag Bearer or Prospector. This follower is adjacent to all other followers. Interesting. I don't think I'm gonna go for that. Volatile Aspect. After taking damage, deal 2 random damage. Reading Aspect. I'm gonna go with Volatile Aspect. This doesn't count as recruiting, unfortunately. But my Fate Beloved will take a lot of damage. That's for sure. So a lot of random damage will be dealt back. Excellent. And what do we have here? Another Blade Dancer. We have a Moth of Healing. At the start of combat, give Fate's Beloved +2 health until the end of combat and +1 health permanently. That's very strong. Aspiring Aspect. At the start of combat, copy the highest attack damage. That's really worth it right now. For once, each combat revive at the backmost position after death. I could put it on the Undying Aspect, and let's lock this moth. And invoke the Undying Aspect onto the Blade Dancer. I mean, Duelist. And Hobgoblin. I feel confident this time. In me defeating him. Despite having only 2 units. Here we go. My damage is pretty high. And that's another forward capacity. For more buffers. And I have a choice right now. I could lock the Moment of Binding. I could count 2 followers of Fate Beloved. It would be interesting definitely, but do I really want that? Will I have new followers recruited, even more scaling? After Fate Beloved's attacks, give a random follower +1/+1. This would be pretty decent. This is better, I think, though, because it's permanent scaling. Yeah. I'm gonna lock this one, though. I don't think order on the non-stat based followers even matter. But here we go. Just never have your followers die. Easy. I'm gonna... Which one's that? Moth of Materializing. Whenever the random damage is dealt by a non-Fate Beloved follower, Fate Beloved will deal random damage. Alright. So this doesn't work because my Fate Beloved is what deals the random damage. In that case, skip with maintaining the lock. And let's continue. Dealing a lot of random damage. This should let me one shot easier. And here we go, 18.5 now. And another event, Mirrors of the True Night Sky. You see stars, moons and suns depicted on the arches above. Unlike the Dragon's Night of the Twisted Beyond, this is the promise of the True Night Sky. Outside the realm that binds you. A purpose final destination. Give 2 random followers plus 1 attack permanently, which is pretty much perfect for me. Or more faith for maximum faith. Do I want something for 25 possibly? I'm kinda tempted to just see what options are for 25. There are no for 20, but there are 18s. Paladin. As the last non-support follower alive, this follower will only take 2 damage from each attack. This would be better than the Undying Duelist. Or Crow. After each attack, deal random damage equal to attack damage. Interesting. I think Paladin could be strong for me because I'm perma-buffing then a better unit than the Duelist. And then keep the Moth locked. Let's continue. Because I have so little followers, then Paladin provides great value for me as being really tanky. Move of sacrificing. After Fate Beloved died, kill a non-Fate Beloved follower with at least 3 health to revive them. That works a bit against the Paladin's last stand ability, so I don't want that. Let's keep saving up for the binding. Alright. So yeah, after Fate Beloved dies, Paladin takes only 2 damage every time, so for example this fight it would be able to last 8 hits. What do we have here? Shift Engine. Gain the ability to reroll during recruit events. This seems pretty strong. Hunting, it's not that great. Hound. Upon death, repeat each death followed with death effect. So that's the death activation synergy. Alright, so I'm gonna replace the tree. Because then whenever a new follower is recruited, give Fate's Beloved more stats, more stats, more stats. And then everything works with this Paladin also being Fate's Beloved. Wait a second, why is it not replaced? Damn it, I messed up. I thought it was summon, like the supporter, and not actually a bind. Well, I messed up. I should have connected it to Paladin then. Well, we have another challenge. Adjunctor of the Truth. This abnate carved mask of a challenger betrays no information you can collect. Clearly a deeply held grudge is animating them and the cultists now emerging all around you. This is to be a reckoning, and more explanation date about you not. Let's see how strong they are. Not that strong. Yep, I messed up my stuff. I'm gonna go with capacity. Now we can recruit. Okay, alright, I've got a chance to redo with this lock. Materializing, lower than the Fate Beloved, calling. Fate Beloved will be able to attack in death. They can attack 1 additional time in death. Interesting. Shining, hunting. Educator Medallion, this follower will deal double damage. Really? I mean, it would be strong on Paladin. I think this is better though. So I'm gonna go for the Materializing Moth. Just as a recruit. And then I'm gonna save for the link for the paladin, finally, after messing up so badly. Not realizing it's not a support follower but link instead. Target status. So, yeah, this is the support, this is not. And we have new stuff. Artificer. When a new follower is recruited, enhance their combat trait with a +1. Oh, we've already seen this, and then more for burning. Fate Beloved will have death effect, deal damage equal to maximum health to 3 random enemies. And it's a support, once again. We could replace the Sanctuary with it, it would be pretty strong. What do we have? Other health scaling. Maybe shocking replacement. Growing aspect is also a valid choice here. For the scaling on Fate's Beloved. So many options, so many good ones. Well, this is pretty useless actually. I'm gonna go with the burning instead of it. I mean, doesn't really matter the order here. Let's continue buffing our Fate Beloved. Make it solo. There we go. Faith 12 Faith once again. If we go for Faith, I'm gonna go with Faith here, because those buffs don't really affect me as I have only 2 followers. But Faith will give me enough to finally install Faith Beloved on this one. What do we have here? Hunter. Whenever this follower gains stats, deal 4 random damage. Not that great, honestly. Mouth of Blessing. At the start of combat, consume 4 Faith to double the stats of Fate Beloved until end of combat. That's really strong, actually. Drained Soul. Permanently give a chosen follower +2/+1 and a negative additional trait. I don't think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna lock this Mouth of Blessing and then Mouth of Binding for Paladin. Let's continue. We are pretty deep already. So now all of my Faith Beloved scaling will apply to Paladin as well. And it has better basic ability. Let's continue. I'm one off from getting the Mouth of Blessing. Weaving is temporary. Materializing is pretty bad for me. God, consume core health to wish for a follower of aspect. Let's do that, let's see what it is. Wishing Flask. Floating, bending, contorting, undulating, becoming. In what form will you wish to take shape today? My wish will take shape of a follower fighting along my side. My wish will take a shape of an aspect, hanging heavy. I have an empty aspect slot and the aspect on Faith Beloved is pretty decent, but probably could do better. And I'm out of follower slots right now. Let's go for the aspect. An aspect, the sweet, bitter, shifting medium, where one documents the deeds of a dead. What does it say to you? I wish for an aspect that grants strength in attack or in health. I wish for an aspect that grants power, changing one's ways. Let's go for strength. The strength to deliver a strike, the strength to withstand one. To whom shall the aspect grant this strength? They who invoke shall aid themselves, they who invoke shall aid others themselves. Taking power, becoming stronger. What manner does this aspect grant its boon? This aspect shall deliver lasting strength In fleeting forms shall this aspect aid. Lasting strength. Let's see how aspects chosen. Scavenging aspect. After surviving combat, permanently gain +1/+2 and remove this trait. It's a one-time buff. Growing aspect. After the start of combat, gain +1 health. Noble aspect. After surviving combat, gain +1/+1 permanently. Adaptive aspect. This follower will gain double the amount of stats. How does this? When a new follower is recruited, give Fate's Beloved health over attack permanently, and this is the start of combat, give one follower stats permanently. This until end of combat, this permanently. To all Fate's Beloved. So I think this would be very strong. Let's log that. And then skip. Well, do I skip or do I just give scavenging aspect on the paladin? Let's go for scavenging as it's temporary. And then I have also locked one, so I will be able to buy it later on. So we have Faith Beloved deals a lot of thorns. And it actually killed everything. Continue. Yeah, we have the locked for 14. This is a pretty strong one, honestly. Let's have combat copy the highest attack of the highest user. Revive. I think I'm gonna go for healing instead of shocking. Now I have 2 of those, so everything will get significantly more health. Let's challenge Baron's entries, I think. Baron's steps, I see. You count each time you see the archway with the hanging bell. For the past day, it has been sporadically appearing around you, just out of reach, as it's staying with you. You are certain if you get close enough to strike, it'll be your own way out. Maze, before the start of combat, shuffle the position of all followers. Interesting. It doesn't really matter for me, I think. So I'm pretty much just start stick. Nova strategy. And here we go. Right, the big explosion deals a lot of damage, so this is really strong. This basically wipe out 3 enemies. Of course, we are going for more capacity. And what do we have here? Some new stuff. So we have Moth of Shielding. In combat, Fate's Beloved can no longer gain health, but they will only take 3 damage from each attack. That's bad because I have hyper health scaling. Moth of Incubating. Summoned followers also count as Fate's Beloved. At the start of combat, summon a 1/2 tentacle. Interesting. Move of Draining. In combat, whenever a non-Fate Beloved follower gains attack damage, Fate Beloved will gain the same amount. I don't have non-Fate Beloved followers. Mace Medallion. Each follower can have up to 4 additional traits before the start of combat. Shuffle all followers. 4 additional traits. So I can just stack 4 of those. That seems bastard, and shuffling it doesn't really matter for me. Let's go here. Each follower can have up to 4 additional traits before the start of combat. Shuffle all followers. Let's go. I guess the only way that this will bite me if Paladin ever goes before Fate's Beloved. But even then I should do decently. So what do we have here? Moth of Blessing. At the start of combat, consume for Faith to double the stats of the Fate's Beloved until end of combat. That will be really strong. Later on I'm gonna lock it. And I'm gonna apply adaptive aspect on Paladin. So yeah, it adds additional aspects. I have 2 now. Each follower can have the forward traits, yeah, and the second one is will gain double the amount of stats. So now it's double scaling. Unfortunately, my paladin went in front, but I should still win. Yep. Because it's also counted as Fate Beloved, which means this must will deal massive damage. This one. What is this? What remains of the Grand Archives? You're in the palace proper now. It feels like you've been traveling for days. Corridors lead to rooms with no rhyme or reason. Only when you see rows of shells with no end inside do you realize that you... what is this word? Bivouacking in the remains of the Grand Archive. The dragon sleeps just beyond. Not much farther now and fond of power soldiers nearby, and in the rubbles a weathered stone tablet softly crawls. Gain plus 5. The next recruit combat event can be rerolled repeatedly or unlock a new fragment in the journal, which I'm gonna choose. Mundane Camp, also new text. Under the tent lights, you slip away from the conversation between stacks of scrap equipment and inactive organs. You notice an odd device that doesn't belong. You're no expert, but the make and magic sigil presents on the device suggests that it's a beacon of expert make. Gem among the rubble. Your curiosity is very little tingled. Maybe give it a spin. Alright, what do we have here? Beacon of the Intrepid. Seek east for webs, scavenging. I mean, scavenging is pretty decent. Alright, so this game is double stats, and it is double stats, so will it be quadruple stats? So, at the start of combat, consume 4 faith to double the stats of Fate's Beloved units until end of combat, which won't trigger this time, but it would in the future. And then this would gain double the amount of stats. And it's a Fate's Beloved, so it should be really strong once I can actually trigger the Fate requirement. Maybe it's even strong enough to solo. Here we go. Continue. I can spend up to 8 of this faith. What's that? New unit. Stranger. When recruited, gain a random combat trait. Shielder. When recruited, give a random forward +2/+2 permanently. Beekeeper. Upon death, summon I won one swarm of bees. Refiner. I've already seen this unit. Vampiric aspect. At the end, after each attack, gain +1/+1 until the end of combat. This will be +2/+2 with the adaptive paladin. But it's too expensive for now. I'm just gonna lock it and skip. Cultists join 520. Bobber, which is also I think new for 3/4. Let's go. Ooh, 33 attack and 130 health on the paladin. Even if paladin goes first, it's still very powerful. At this point, we might actually replace Fate Beloved, just so paladin has guaranteed the damage reduction on himself. And what do we have here? In combat, whenever an adjacent follower gains stats, this follower gains the same amount. Interesting. Moth of Blessing at the start of combat comes off with once again to double stats. This seems pretty busted, and I'm gonna replace Fate Beloved original one, leaving only Paladin. So now we are gonna go pretty wild, exactly like at the dragon fight. So I'm gonna consume 8 faith, giving him quadruple stats and then quadruple stats. Let's see how wild this gets. Let's see what happens. 111 attack and 400 health. And takes only 2 health per attack always. Because it's paladin. here we go, we just 3 taps the dragon. 3 attacks to defeat the dragon. Oh, I am the boss now. Well, this build seems absolutely fucking busted. I guess that's what all of this scaling and doubling stats gets with, along with the super strong medallion. Yeah, is there anything new? I think it's different. There is relief, a rush of excitement, but there is no true joy. There never is. You feel the troubling of the kingdom now. You see the umbral path beyond. Every time your conquest is built on mountains of corpses, and every time you are cursed with the knowledge that the next time you wake, it will be here. Perching on the rafters, waiting again, dreaming again. These little triumphs feel so very small when placed behind the bars of this realm that traps you. You take a final look on your compatriots. Compatriots, you mean? Perhaps you'll meet again. Perhaps you'll find someone new. But at the end of all expeditions, only you will remember. Alright, expedition results. The realm deteriorates, and you can unlock hidden here the tools that wrought calamity. Origin follower Delver. A vault jettisoned into the waters, a pass flooded by the abyss. You can now recruit the Delver as your first follower. Test a relic. From your wands, this relic takes shape. Etch it with modifiers you have mastered, and carry forth a relic of your own making. Continue. New fragment found. Found a dream. Place your hands on the bitter stone, and recall memories no longer yours. One of 9 fragments retrieved. Inspect them in the journal. And exit the title. Well, to say the least, that was a very strong build. We have a lot of new entries, but I'm gonna show off just the fragments. I'm gonna click through all the other ones outside of recording to just have them removed. How long is it? It's pretty long. You know what? I'm gonna do this at the beginning of the next episode. Because my throat is pretty sore right now. Thank you for watching. If you like what you've seen, please subscribe and liking the video. It will help me out a lot. And with that, goodbye.